all this private debt market is a result of the financial crisis of 2008. Since then, we have a significant increase in the financing through private debt. It is connected to the fact that banks, because of banking regulation, had to get rid of a big chunk of the loan business, and that new companies have taken part in this story. This is the growing part of the shadow banking that you mentioned in your question. People not aware that there is risk in the private debt market? I don't think so. The two examples that you mentioned, bringing back this issue that people have in mind for quite a long period of time, saying that those unregulated private debt companies are very dangerous for the economy and for the financial system. I think that it is a very good point that suddenly people realize that there is risk in this activity. Does it mean that private debt market is under threat because of Tricolor and First Brands? I don't think so. I think that there are warning signs that we need to be careful, that we need to assess very carefully the risk connected with those activities. And that's my point at the end of the day.
Personal credit has been in the spotlight as well the last few months. US credit card delinquencies are 1.3 trillion and student loans delinquencies are at all-time highs. The risks of both of these things are both bundled into subprime bonds. Some commentators, especially in the US, are being a little bit alarmist about this. They are talking about renewed QE efforts. Are you saying you completely dismiss this as a risk?
No, I don't dismiss that as a risk. I think this is a risk that is with us for quite a long period of time. I think that people are quite aware that there is a risk on those areas on the consumers' credit side. But for the time being, consumers have been able to resist, and the level of the default or the level of risk on the consumer side is limited compared to the total debt of the consumer sector. That's something that you need to keep in mind. At the end of the day, it's not so much the private debt issue that needs to be in people's mind. It's really the public debt issue that needs to be in people's mind, because this is where you have growing public debt in the US, and this is a big risk at the end of the day, especially if there is a loss of confidence on the dollar. And so you need to assess the different part of the credit. And I think that the personal credit is not so much the biggest risk for me. It's still the public debt that is for me the big issue.